Hello everyone, it's Amy and welcome back to week 16 of Journaling on a Budget, starting over. And today we are going to make a full page corner pocket. And while we were in Oklahoma, I had bought a rug to put in front of the shower and it had this felt on the back. Well, that made it just slide on the tile. And so I pulled this felt off so that it was, then under that it was like rubbery and would stay where it was. But I looked at this felt and I thought, that's really cool. And it was kind of thick and, and I thought, that'd make a cool book cover. So I decided to play around with it, give me something to play with when the baby was sleeping and my daughter was working. So I put a paper bag on the back side of it, and it did make a nice solid cover. I made some little homemade buttons out of cardboard and beaded a little bit of trim when I sewed in the signatures. And then, being that I didn't have a ton of supplies, I made it with what I had. So I did some watercolor paper. And the one thing I had was one of those composition notebooks. And so I put in some pages of that in here, which I love to have writing space in a journal. But, I sometimes, if I want to write something in there, I don't want other people looking at it if they're kind of flipping through my journal. So I thought, well, how could I cover those up? Because I put in a few pages, in the book. And I thought, well, what if I make a corner pocket? But instead of it just being a corner, if I make it be a full page. And so I made this one, and the corner's a little bit small, so it does kind of want to shift a little bit. I mean, it's really not bad, but so I made another one where I made it a full corner, a larger corner, I guess I should say, to fit over top of there, and it just holds it a little more solidly. So this is what we are going to do today, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So in our journal, I use 8.5 by 11 regular copy paper. So I know that's the size of my book, but I did not want my pocket to be, and actually that's not 8.5 by 11 because oh yes it is, because it got trimmed, so actually it's a little bit shorter than 11. But what I wanted to do was I wanted it to be a little bit smaller than my book so that it wouldn't catch as you're opening and shutting the book. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take a little bit off the length of this because I want it to be, I cut this to 8 by 10.5, a half an inch shorter each way. But since I forgot that once we folded these together, we had to trim them, and so that's not quite 11, I need to make this a little bit shorter. So since there's a line on here, pretty sure I could cut it fairly straight. Okay, so now this is going to be 8 by about 10.5. That will be much better. Okay, so then what you do to make the book is, I'm going to set this aside for a second. To make the corner, you want to decide what part you want out. I kind of like this side with a little bit of extra color to it. So fold it in half. And again, so you can make this any size you want to, but you can make it up to as large as your page or just a little bit smaller or however you want to do it. Then what I'm going to do, this I want to be my front. So I'm going to take the other side and I'm going to fold it. Now this is not the way that it's going to stay. So if you're looking at that going, how's that going to work? We're going to fold it down to the center fold, because what that will do is that will give us a square here. Now you don't have to really burnish that. I shouldn't have really. And then what I'm going to do, because this is just the easy way to do it, instead of trying to do measurements and everything, just fold that down to the center fold here. And then cut off this extra bottom piece. That. You know what? I didn't do this on my other one, but maybe we'll just leave that there. We're going to leave that there. So what we're going to do is we're going to just fold that down, because now this is a square. And then we're going to cut across to the fold. Now you can cut that right off. That's how I did it before. But if I leave it like that, I could turn that into a pocket. So I'm going to do that. Now, this is not going to hook over our page. It's not folded the right way. The corner's not the right way. So now we're going to open it back up. And then we're going to fold this corner right up to the fold and up to the top line, just like that. And now we have our corner is right here. So you can ink that or color it or do whatever you want with it. I actually didn't bring any inks out, so we're just going to leave it like that. I did get some of the foam and poster board glue from the Dollar Tree that everyone has said that it's really good and works like the Fabri-Tac, so we're going to try this. Now what we're going to do is, first thing, we're just going to glue this fold down. So just put some glue on there and glue that down. It does seem to grab nicely. Okay, and then, because this is going to be our corner tuck, we're going to glue just across the top, and just a very little bit, because however much you glue across the top, that's going to stick up a little bit over your page, because, you know, the glue is going to glue these two pieces together. And so your page will only be able to fit up as far as wherever that glue is. Now, if you wanted, at this point in time, you could put a little bit of lace across there and then glue the lace on there so the lace would stick out the top of your book. That would be really quite pretty. I didn't have any lace with me when I made the other ones, but I thought of that. And I forgot about it when I did this tutorial, or I would have probably grabbed a piece of lace to put on there. Okay, so now we have our corner tuck to tuck on our page, and there we go. Isn't that really cool? And it covers up the page, so whatever you put behind there, nobody's going to see it. And plus, now as a bonus, we have a little pocket here too, because I didn't think about that before. I just cut this piece right off. But if we just put a little bit down here and a little bit across here, now that's going to make a pocket. That we can stick something in there also. And then if you want to, okay, so when you open it up and you're making your fold, the way to know which side to do your fold on is remember that it's going to be flipped over. So just grab this piece of paper, even though it's too big. But okay, so you have it like this, and you fold it in half. Okay, so now let's say you want it to be on this side. Okay, if you want it to be on this side, then you're going to do your cutting and folding on the opposite side. So that way you'll have your triangle here, and when you flip it over, that's where your fold is going to be. So just like when we had this one, and when it was open, we cut it on this side. We cut, you know, this piece over here, and this piece was over here. We cut this side, and now when we have it, it's going to flip over and slide onto the other side of our book. So whatever side that you want your actual full page to go on to, you're going to set your piece of paper. If I know that I want it right here, then I'm going to set my piece of paper on my book and say, okay, that's where I want it. This is the side that's going to get folded, so that when I flip it over to put it on my page, oops, then this is going to be the side that covers what I want. Okay, so anyways, it's a quick one, and I didn't grab anything to do decorating, but I should have. And I love the way that these turn out. And another one that I like to do also is this type of a corner pocket, which goes on the bottom. And this is a corner tuck that has a pocket in it. And so I'm going to show you this one really quick too, because it's super easy. And so we'll just, I guess it doesn't matter. We can figure out where we're going to put it later. But okay, so to do this type of corner tuck, all I do is I take a piece of paper. Okay, now this is as big as my book, so I think I do want to cut it down a little bit. I think I'm just going to think I'll just rip it. Okay. All right, because I just don't want it as wide as my book or it won't fit in the book. All right, so then what we're going to do is we are going to fold down, and there is no correct size of paper for this. Just any piece of paper is going to work. Whatever size your paper is, that's going to determine how big your pocket is. So we're going to fold down that side, flip it over, and fold down this side. Okay, and then we're going to flip it back up. And then you can decide whether, I like to put these on the outside, the folded over part, and then like ink along the edges or whatever. But if you want the folded part to be on the inside, you could fold it this way. So, you know, so that you won't see the edge of the paper there. Well, you're not going to see it on the bottom on this one anyways. So anyways, I digress. All right, so we take a piece of paper, we fold it down. And then what we do is just take this bottom part, fold it up to, it's kind of like folding, when we were kids, remember the pirate hats we used to fold out of newspaper? So we're going to fold that one up. And then just to kind of get a gist of where we want to fold this over, I just kind of press that one right along the edge real tight. And then just kind of, I make it just a touch shorter than that fold because that came to the outside of here. So I just kind of put that in just a little bit further than the little fold that's there. Just barely roll it in a bit. That way it kind of comes to the edge better. Okay, and so there we go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to fold this back. I'm going to fold this in a little bit because I don't like how tall this is. I'm going to just fold it down a little bit. Because we didn't measure this paper, we're just making this out of a piece of paper. So I could cut it off if I wanted to, but if I fold it down, it makes the edge of my pocket more solid. So since I folded that down, I'm going to put some glue in these areas. I'll put a little bit of glue under here. You don't need much because it's folded. Now this flap I do want to fold down fairly well. Put a dot under there. Okay, so fold this flap down. Kind of messed it up right here. I kind of moved my paper, so I need to fix it so it's not. There we go. Alrighty. So now we have this folded in half, and now we have a pocket here. Now you can glue this edge if you want to. Excuse me. I don't glue this edge because it makes it easier to put your tag in and to put it in and out. So I just glue just along the very bottom. And again, just barely. Excuse me. I just get this terrible tickle. Try and take a drink and see if that helps. So there we go. Now we have our corner pocket with a pocket in our corner tuck pocket. So this goes in your book. Let's see where we've got a spot for it. Let's try the back section. Whoops. What if we put it right on here? And again, because we put glue on it, it will fit right up tight against your page this way, but it will not fit tight up against the bottom because of the glue. So you have to remember that that will stick down a little bit. But it doesn't really stick down a whole lot. Just a little bit where we put the glue. And so then again, that gives us a pocket here. It gives us a pocket here. And then on the other side, again, we have a pocket here, and we have a pocket here. And then you decorate that up however you want to. Now, you can, if you want to, instead of gluing this so that it comes off, because actually I really wasn't thinking quite straight. Let's see if we can get this apart. Is that where I glued it? Holy cow. That glue really does work good. Boy, it grabs fast too. I forgot that actually what I usually do, on a corner pocket, I glue them onto the page. Because the other one I made is removable, I wasn't thinking about it. Okay, so you go all the way across the bottom. And then you just put it tight up against your page and line it up with the bottom of your page. Wow, that glue grabs fast. So does the Fabri-Tac. So yes, I think I'm going to have to say, and I have not really tried this, except just right now, but I'm going to say this is pretty good. This is pretty good glue for $1 at the Dollar Tree compared to how much the Fabri-Tac or 3-in-1 or whatever is. And again, this is Beacon. So Beacon it's the same company. There we go. Now we have a pocket here, a pocket here, and we have a pocket here and a pocket here. And so there is just a fast little double pocket corner. We have our other, no, this one you can actually tuck things up in here if you want to. And that covers our page so that we can write whatever we want on here, and it's not just going to be right there for everybody to see if we don't want them to. So I hope that you like these tucks. I think that they're very quite cool. Oh, and I forgot that now we have a pocket on that one. So thank you very much for stopping by. We're going to have to, pretty soon, we're going to have to do some decorating in here because I seem to be doing all of the construction and no decorating. So we better get to that maybe in the next couple of weeks. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate you. And I hope that you all have an outstanding day. Bye-bye.